She's on the
money.
She's on the money.
So this week we had a listener DM, and you know what, a little bit more juicy than what we we're just talking about. Ready? Mm-hmm. Okay. Hi, She's on the money. I keep seeing money influencers say your partner is the biggest financial decision you'll ever make, but I didn't even think about that at all when I fell in love. Emotionally, the relationship is solid, but financially, we are not on the same page. And the more I notice it, the harder it is to unsee. I listen to the money diaries, so I know people can change. But lately, I've been wondering if this is something I should take more seriously. Then I feel really guilty. Like, am I being too shallow or too focused on money? I wasn't like this before, but now I don't know if I'm overthinking or finally waking up. What would you do?
Oh, this is tugging at my heartstrings because they didn't say, this person didn't say, but I can only assume that they're the more responsible one with money and their partner might not be. And I am the partner that is not. My girlfriend Jess is very unhappy that I quit my job for a 4-week opportunity. And all these other
don't know why. That's crazy.
I know, it's crazy. She's crazy. I'm just kidding. No, that's very, very valid. But I think that before her, I've always been a little bit like risk taking. I don't care if I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I don't care if I'm broke. I honestly don't mind. And so I feel like maybe depending on where your partner is coming from and how they've lived before, and if they always get back on their feet, and if they don't rely on other people around them, then at this moment, totally fine. I think that, so I can totally understand it. Some people don't work in this way where they're thinking about money and they're thinking about savings and they have this intrinsic like just motivation to save for a future. Some people just do not have that. I do not have that. I can't be taught to have that in me. I will just do it because I have
Lord
to.
knows I've tried.
Exactly. Like I've been here for like 3 years now. Like I just, and
like, you know.
And
but
I
like,
know.
I think that's what's kind of so cool about She's on the Money sidestep is that like you are so different to Jess and I. And it's not a negative or a positive, it's just who you are. And like, that's a cool thing. But we've got so many diverse people in our community. Some might be like Jess and literally stockpile every cent. Some might be a little bit more like me who I take risky decisions, but I'm also relatively financially like stable when I make those decisions and I'm always calculating everything. And then there might be people like you, Beck. And I don't want people to think that there's only one way to manage finance.
Yeah, totally.
Like, as long as you are educated and have the knowledge and the tools and the resources and I've given it to you on a silver platter, I don't care how you use them. Like, yes, in a perfect world, I'd love Beck to budget. Oh my God, like my life would be made. But at the end of the day, you're an adult and I respect your decisions because you're an adult. But like, I think that everybody deserves access to those tools. And if you didn't have access and you were in a really shitty financial position because you hadn't been given an education, that's not fair.
Yes.
But now you're making decisions and you're like, well, I know I could do this or that. You've made the decision that's right for you, not the decision that's right for society.
Totally. I completely agree. And so I guess in saying that, right now it comes down to if your partner is, I guess it doesn't even matter if it's finances or anything. Like if you're, I don't know, dating someone who, if you're dating someone who never cooks, never cleans, never does any, like holds any of the mental load, it's like, it's the exact same. I feel like it's not the exact same, but it feels like if your partner is not willing to change to help you and your future together, regardless of what it is, maybe they hate cleaning, but they just have to do it. Maybe they hate saving or they just don't know how to do it, but they just have to do it. It's like, that's a completely different situation. Their relationship with money, because I'm on the other end, I understand that some people just don't have that, don't live like that. But I will commit to saving for a future with my partner because that's what's in the cards. And so I feel like that's probably more the conversation. And if your partner is willing to just do it, even if they hate it, to also give them some objectives, something to work with, something tangible. Be like, if we save this amount, this is what our future will look like. Because otherwise it's just invisible. It's just like there's no motivation to do that. But anyway, so I think that's probably the conversation I would be thinking about, if that makes sense.
What do you reckon, Jess?
I think the saying, your partner is the biggest financial decision or whatever it is, it comes from, I guess, that concept of like you're the sum of the people you spend the most time with. I think it's like the 7 people closest to you kind of form your core personality traits or something like that. There's some psychological study. I think because your partner, assuming, a traditional relationship where you eventually are building towards a life together, they're the person you spend the most time with. Your life is so interlinked with them in terms of your finances, if you choose to have children or maybe own property or save towards other important goals for you guys. Your lives are so intertwined that their take on money has a really significant impact on you regardless of how you each manage it. And so I think that concept is kind of reflecting on the fact that it can maybe cause friction, I think, in your relationship if you have 2 people, particularly if someone isn't willing to do as you are, Beck. You've said, I acknowledge that I'm not great with money, but I will work towards goals because that's what my relationship needs to progress forward. Not everybody is able to draw that line in the sand, I suppose, and make that decision. I think at the same time as well, if someone doesn't match your energy, if you're the person who is, let's say, more aspirational, if you have high savings goals or if you have big goals for your life in general, even outside of money, if your energy isn't being matched by your partner, it can sometimes take the wind out of your sails a little bit and hold you back because you're maybe working to accommodate them and that's not a bad thing. Like compromise is important in any relationship, but at the same time, I think like you also need to acknowledge that if 2 people go, okay, well, regardless of how good we are with money or what we want to do, we're going to find a way to make our dreams work. Like that is very powerful.
Yeah.
As opposed to maybe one person being like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. And the other person being like, oh, it'd be nice, but we can never do it. It's almost like psychological beyond just the actual financial stuff. But I feel like you're going to explain that a lot better than me because I feel like I
No, you're not wrong.
I totally agree.
I mean, if I look at my situation, my husband and I got together and when we were just dating, we were both in personal debt. We both had personal loans. We both weren't good at money and we have learnt together what that means and what our values are. And I would say very lucky to have obviously met someone I've fallen in love with madly, want all his babies, 10 out of 10, but also somebody who has the same values and goals and like, I guess, lifestyle aspirations that I have because that could have been really hard and I'm not in that position. But I mean, if you take a really big step back, the idea of marrying for love is actually really modern. If we look at history, we actually married for money. We married, I guess, more specifically for survival. We married for status. We married for strategic advantage. Families negotiated marriages based on what they could get out of it. Like the idea,
Little Women for it. You can't tell me marriage is not an economic proposition.
Exactly. It absolutely is. And I mean, for much of history, marriage was less about romance and more about alliances between families and safely transferring wealth and securing land or, ensuring a social standing or social status. And like, that's just the logic of it. Like romance is a privilege. Love was a bonus, but not a requirement. And I think if we go back to that, I'm not saying that that's a good idea. That was all about survival. Now, sorry, we're staunch feminists. I can go get my own job and I can choose to marry for love. And then it does come into it because you're right. Somebody could take the wind out of your sails if they're not in the same situation as you. And I think, to be really brutal, yes, in many ways, marrying for your choice of partner is the biggest financial decision you'll make. And I saw a TikTok the other day. I feel like all I do is talk about TikTok. And a woman said, oh, girl, all men will disappoint you. Just marry for money because at least you'll be happy with whatever outcome happens. And I'm not saying that's a good idea because a man is not a financial plan, but literally the person that you marry affects everything from how you manage money day to day to how you plan for your lifetime goals, for how you go on holidays, for how you plan on marrying, like how you plan on raising kids and buying a home and like what does retirement look like and having a partner that shares your values and is able to communicate openly and honestly with you and respects your financial boundaries. I think can help you build a secure financial future. So maybe I'm a little bit more savage. Maybe I've just unfortunately seen one too many divorces come through my financial advice doors when I was an advisor, that I am quite negative about marriage. Am I married? Yes. Am I in love with my husband? Absolutely yes. Am I lucky that we're on the same financial page? Yes. But I think that constantly fighting about money and constantly feeling alone in that's not worth it.
Yeah.
Like, because if you don't feel like you're supported, I'm sorry, it's no longer about finances anymore. If you don't feel supported, full stop, you're in a marriage that's not going to work.
Yeah.
makes sense.
It's like the finance is almost just a small element of
love is so important.
Yeah.
Love is so, like, to me, it is so important, but so is financial compatibility. And I'm sorry, I'm so negative about that. And there are going to be people who go, it doesn't matter. Like, I would work my life away from my partner. Amazing. You're actually financially compatible.
Yeah. That's
like-
exactly like you,
Right.
the example Beck was giving. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like, financial compatibility doesn't mean 50-50.
Yeah.
That's not what the default is.
Yeah.
Financial compatibility means you're both happy with what you contribute and you're both happy with how that works and what that looks like and the lifestyle you achieve from that.
Yeah.
But if you're not on the same page, I just don't see how it's going to work out long term. Sorry, bye.
What did everybody else say?
Okay, so the rest of the community, juicy. So we did ask a few questions first. First, we said, do you think who you choose as a partner is your biggest financial decision? Surprisingly, 28% of you said yes.
Interesting.
69% of you said it's just one piece of the puzzle. And 3% said money is separate. Then we asked, can a relationship work if you're on different pages financially? 72% of you said it can, but it is very hard work. 17% of you said it's a time bomb. 7% of you said yes, love is the most important part, and 4% said no, red flag.
Interesting.
Very interesting. And then I asked the community, I said, girl, what's your 2 cents? And did you have 4 cents? First person said, give it time and see if you can get on the same page before making any big financial decisions. Next person said, you don't want to be the one with money ready for a holiday with someone who can't go anywhere. Next person said, communication and education. That is what I have learnt from She's on the Money. And I love explaining what I've learnt from She's on the Money to my partner.
Oh,
How many times does this come back down to? It's communication.
genuinely.
Next person said, you can have different mindsets, but if you can't talk about it like mature adults, red flag emoji.
That's a big one, the communication, like the level of communication.
Yeah.
is so
100%.
important.
Next person said, I ended a marriage after only 4 months due to different financial pages. It was a time bomb waiting to burst. Next person said, I have separate accounts that align with my goals, as does my partner, as we don't always agree on the financial side of things.
Interesting.
Next person, and this is the last one that I'm going to share, said, dating in 2025 is cooked. Keep them if they are a good egg.
I mean, it's
Fair,
tough out
yeah.
there from what I've heard from the girls, so that's also
Oh my
very
God. Like, it is tough, but I do think being on the same financial page is going to reduce friction in your relationship.
Yeah,
Like, and
fair.
I'm just all about not having a friction relationship. Like, it's, some people are meant to be, some people aren't, and that's fine. I don't know.
Lube her up.
I think, would you rather cry in a Corolla or a Lamborghini? I don't know.
Just the last thing I want to say is that do be mindful that
I'm
like, some
joking, by
people-
the way.
Some people have like really, like, you know, this privileged thing, like some people didn't grow up with much money and it's like, it can
Oh,
be very
100%.
anxiety inducing chat to have and also so, that's something you don't
But
really
you
have
can
much
be
control
on the
over.
same page financially with someone who
Absolutely.
has no money.
That's so true. So
You can
just
be on the
kind.
same page with somebody. It doesn't mean that you have millions. Like,
Yeah.
we're not talking about needing to become a millionaire family. We're just talking about, are you spending in line with your goals and values? Are you achieving the life that you want? Because, like, can you imagine, Beck, if your partner was like, well, I want you to save every single dollar because we need to have $6 million invested by the time we get here. And you literally couldn't care less about that. And that
Yeah.
was all they cared about. They just cared about the money. Like, maybe they should go be with someone who makes more money and cares more about money, and
Yeah,
that would make them
totally.
happier. Like,
Totally.
and that's not the case. So, like,
No.
to be on the same page financially with someone doesn't mean you even need to have a dollar. In fact, my husband and I both started in debt and we're still on the same page.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Anyway,
That's okay.
I think that's all we've got time for today, my babies.
Yes, I think so. It's a gorgeous place to leave it.
Yeah, see you on Monday for Money Diaries and have a good weekend. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.